everyone. Welcome to the Martin County Community Redevelopment Agency meeting. Today is Monday the 25th. Let's call the meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's see, we have some minutes from the last meeting. Does anybody have any comments? We got the one comment about the positions, and I think, any other comments?
Yeah,
Anybody want?
If you can just make that adjustment on the minutes.
Yeah, chair was noted as Rex, and vice chair was Robert, and they're reversed.
Okay.
Chair is Robert, vice chair. Is Rex vice chair, or is Mike?
No, I think I am.
So who's,
Was he last month?
No.
He was not last month. Okay, so Rex is correct.
so Rex is the chair,
Vice chair.
vice chair, okay.
That's my only correction. Anybody want to make a motion?
Oh, motion to accept.
We're making sure that's only one. I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Thank you. Okay, so those two are down. Any disclosure of conflicts of interest from any of the members? No. Don't see any, so we're good there. Any public comments? If you have a comment, please stand, state your name for the record. 3 minutes. Nobody interested? We'll move on to presentations. Capital review projects.
Good afternoon, board. My name, for the record, is Jordan Pastorius, Assistant Manager of the Office of Community Development. Susan Correz, unfortunately, was not able to make it today, but sends her regards. So we're going to get into the capital projects update. I'll show it to you on your screen. So we're going to go through several of them, and then myself and Joy Porta will go in depth on a couple. So starting off with Golden Gate Vision, that project, the Touchpoint event, is going to be held on October 29th from 4:30 to 6:30 at the Golden Gate Building. The Golden Gate Neighborhood Improvements, we'll bring that presentation to you at your September meeting. The capital projects, the Hope Sound, let's see, we're going to go to Hope Sound now. The stormwater and streetscape design proposals were opened on 8/13. There were 4 submissions. The selection committee met on October 20th, and 3 were moved to the next level. They are GAI, Keith and Associates, and CapTech. Those vendors will present to the committee on September 8th. The committee is made up of Martin County staff from Public Works, Ecosystems, Traffic, Survey, Field Operations, and our office.
A question for you, Jordan.
Yes, sir.
Is that a public meeting?
I believe it is. Yeah. If it's not, I'll get back to you, but I believe it is. And then I want to scroll down, let's see, next page for the Rio streetscape enhancements, as well as the Rio property and civic center design. Wanted to go over those dates with you. They are September 25th. The Rio NAC will hear 30% design from our consultants from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Log Cabin, as well as October 27th, we'll bring that to you all, the CRA board. And then November 20th, again, the Rio NAC will hear the 90% design plans. And most likely, it'll be on October 11th, I think is a Saturday. We're coordinating right now with the Sheriff's Office barbecue team, and we'll try and have a Saturday event out there at the Log Cabin to entice more community engagement for those 2 projects and the input from them. Moving right along, I wanted to go a little bit further in depth on the Cornell Ave streetscape project. bring you guys a little bit more up to speed on that project. So, let's see, I'll move this to here. So these are some images from the redevelopment plan showing that it is in our redevelopment plan, and it's a 50-foot right-of-way. The streetscape project shown from the 2003 redevelopment plan is there with the 15 feet tree lawn, as they call it, on the west side of the road, 2 10-foot travel lanes, a 7-foot swale, and an 8-foot multi-use pathway. I'll give you some existing conditions as of today and what we have done so far. On February 17th, the NAC recommended approval of the capital improvement plan, which included funding for Cornell enhancements. On April 21st, Captech Engineering participated in a community engagement meeting to plan to gain input for design concepts. And on June 16th, staff and Captech Engineering presented the 30% design plans to the NAC for review and feedback. On August 18th, most recently, staff and Captech Engineering also presented again to the NAC after meeting with several of the Cornell Ave property owners for additional input. And most likely, the tentative date for another community engagement meeting will be October 20th. We're going to coordinate that with the Utilities Department and Public Works Department, as there's going to be an infill sewer project first for vacuum sewer throughout those neighborhood streets and water where there isn't any existing. And then after utilities project is complete, then the Public Works Neighborhood Restoration Program will move in and mill and resurface the roads. And so around that time is when we want to coordinate with the Public Works Department to revitalize and enhance Cornell Ave. And that's from Martin Downs to Martin Highway. It's about 3/4 of a mile. These are the existing conditions. On the east side of the road, you see there's about a 2-foot buffer between the travel lane and the 4-foot wide sidewalk. So the goal, obviously, there is to enhance pedestrian safety throughout the corridor. This was one of the initial concept designs from Captech that was presented to the community, providing an 8-foot buffer with a 6-foot sidewalk and leaving another 6 feet on the eastern side in case there's some vegetation along the property line that is within the right-of-way that perhaps some property owners would get upset about if we completely remove them. But meeting with several of those property owners, that wasn't the case. So these were several other options of how it could get configured. That is shifting the road completely to the west 5 feet and having an 8-foot wide sidewalk with a 7-foot buffer between that and the roadway, and keeping that 5-foot planting area for any vegetation along the property line, or not shifting the road and having a 6-foot sidewalk or an 8-foot wide sidewalk. That was a pretty big discussion between the community and the NAC. The NAC unanimously voted for, it seems to be voting for an 8-foot wide sidewalk. But again, we'll have some more community engagement and try to best consolidate everyone's wishes into the project and make it the best it can be. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
We talked about zigzagging to help out some of those folks.
So-
And the architect, he's working on that,
Yes, sir. The engineer. Yeah.
the engineer.
So that was presented and talked about meandering it a little bit.
Right.
It looks like a great project.
Yeah, it's good.
It's a nice wide sidewalk, safer situation. I wish we had that in Hope Sound on Gomez.
So I had one question about Park Drive improvement. Are we still on target, on track for that?
Joy, do you want to?
Park Drive Phase 1, which is the underground improvements, is on track. I don't have the timeframes, but I updated.
But we're not, yeah.
At the last Port Salerno NAC, I gave you time dates for the Park Drive. And then the Phase 2 part, the Phase 1 is the underground, and then also some concrete work, dumpster on Park Drive. And then Phase 2, once the Phase 1 is done, Phase 2 will go out to bid, and we'll put the remainder of the roadway, the actual roadway base down and roadway improvements along Seaward, Park Drive, and George's Way. So that, those timeframes have not changed since the date I
Okay.
gave you.
Just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
So if there are any more questions for the capital project review, we'll move on to the Salerno-New Monrovia unpaved roads project.
That's good.
All right.
Good afternoon, Joy Puerta, Program Manager for the CRA. So the New Monrovia unpaved road projects, you've heard about this project before. I brought it back in conceptual form to you at one of your past meetings. This particular roadway includes Southeast Murray Street, 43rd Street, and the unimproved right-of-way of Southeast Field Street. Towards the southern portion of the project, Southeast Murray and Southeast 43rd will be reconstructed, including reconstructed driveways, drainage improvements, and a sidewalk. The northern portion will be reconstructing part of 43rd, extending it, and then also actually building Southeast Field Street as a new roadway between 43rd and 44th Avenue. It has been brought to my attention, I guess, with the last slide that I did. How do I back up? That I guess there is a tree kind of in this area. So since that was brought to my attention, I'll make sure the consultant addresses that. We might have to meander the drainage a little bit to save the tree, but I guess it will be up to the actual owner. We'll reach out and contact them on what they would like to see.
Yeah, maybe shift that, shift the apron up or shift the pipe and the apron or somehow. That'd be great.
So if there are any other questions or comments related to this particular project?
So I just want to make sure for the sidewalk, is it still on that side?
Yes,
that
still on the
originally-
east side, because that's where the majority of the residents are and
I'll
the
just give them a
driveways.
heads up. But no, I'm glad to see that we're now at 90%.
Yes, we just turned into 90%, so I think we need to still revisit something at back. We have to revisit back at the 60%, but we are moving forward.
And
There were some.
I know on our last meeting, we talked about identifying areas that flooded, and that's one area that does, so I'm glad to see the drainage included in there too, so.
Okay, all right,
Kudos.
great. And myself. Next project is the New Monrovia Neighborhood Improvements. This is an update that I'm preparing. It is at 60% submittal still, but it's going close to 90% submittal. I've actually seen the plans have been submitted, but it has not been reviewed yet. Traffic has provided comments related to the two raised intersections, and they've updated the drawings. Based on the traffic comments, the Office of Community Development requested traffic counts and speeds along 47th Avenue for justification. Also this next slide, also they requested the same speed studies for the Dell Street area through the intersection of Coley. In the future, the county will be reaching out to the neighborhood residents to obtain the support for traffic calming features. This is a provision in our code, so it's just not an obstacle, but it's a mechanism to make sure that the residents are on board with any type of improvements. And since it's a raised intersection, it's considered a traffic calming feature. Are there any comments related to this project?
Doesn't look like it. Thanks, Joy.
You're welcome.
So that takes us to the end of the agenda, public comments. Yes, Mr. Earl, looks like he has a comment. Okay.
We'll count it as a comment.
See a comment. I never get an answer. I try to get an answer. Gary Earler, Port Salerno. I tried to stop before the previous one. it's my understanding, and maybe someone can correct me from the county, but every street that has improvements, it requires a complete street now. I saw the Palm City one, and you talk about shifting a road to allow for more sidewalk, and then, 6 foot, 8 foot, 4 foot's there. It seems like, looking at that drone shot down that street, there's a lot of vegetation right on there, and, I really can't believe that the residents want the whole, whether it's a side yard, front yard, depending on, they're gonna lose, which it's county right of way. You can do what you need, make it safer for all. But even going into Port Salerno and the paving, are we looking at, it has to be a complete street? It has to have, a 6 foot sidewalk, an 8 foot sidewalk? Are we gonna use all the available right of way? Or are we gonna leave, which you just said, you're taking out a tree, so there is some natural vegetation that's there. I'm sure there's a bunch of it that's exotic and needs to go. I mean, like it is with any property. But I really don't think we need to use all of our right-of-way. Let's save a little, The expense alone could be a cost-saving factor, save money for the CRA, save money for the county. That's just my statement. Thank you.
Thanks. Any board member comments? Yes, ma'am?
I couldn't go without. I did want to just.
We got time.
I know. That's why I'm going to do it. So I believe there was an email submitted regarding concerns about me possibly just advocating for New Monrovia. And I just want to make it clear that ever since I've been on the board in Port Salerno, we've had more projects outside of New Monrovia than we have within New Monrovia. I am in no way not including all of Port Salerno in my representation. So I just want to make sure I put it out there on the record.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Mike? Jeff?
The only thing that I wanted to add is, I know in Palm City, when we talked about removing the vegetation, the biggest thing was safety concern. A lot of the people that lived on that street, which is Cornell in Palm City, when they pull out of their driveway, it's blind. They can't see either way. And the one thing that they all mentioned was people on bicycles and these new e-bikes, that are blasting up and down the sidewalks, and they don't see them. That was my only comment.
Yeah, I think Jordan's drone shot was pretty clear. There wasn't a whole lot going on. It's just the right side on that drone shot. It's just the sidewalk on the right side. And you had said that the owners were notified, and there really wasn't a whole lot of vegetation along there.
Correct. Yeah, and on the left side, which is the west side, that's where the drainage swale will go. It's quite a big drainage issue in that area, so try to address it as best as possible within the 50-foot right-of-way, not going onto people's private property.
I'm fully in agreement of getting rid of the 2 foot strip and giving there more space between the lane and the sidewalk. And it's always nice because having an 8 foot sidewalk, because you only have one on that street. You don't have it on both sides of the street. We have the same thing on Gomez and Hope Sound, where it's just one side for some distance, not another. And it's a heavily used sidewalk. And I'm sure this one looked like it was pretty heavily used. And it's nice to be able to have two vehicles or two bikes, not vehicles, but two bike and a person passing each other on the sidewalk. Hopefully there's not a vehicle on the sidewalk. Yeah.
I would think it really would gear toward the area,
Yeah.
because you may not have room for an 8-footer.
Right. Or if there's vegetation in the way, like this tree we were just talking about. I mean, it's just one tree, but it's a big pine tree, and maybe the owners really would be upset if it was gone. And if
I
it's
am
just
glad.
an easy shift,
I'm glad that you're involving the community, because it sounds like you're going back to get even more input, so.
Any staff member comments?
That's it.
Nope. All right.
Thank you.
Let's adjourn.